And we are rolling, man. It's Friday. We made it. It's the end of the week. We're on the home stretch here. Just several hours, and we should be good to go. Congratulations. Congratulations. We made it, man. We made it. We're streaming, and it's Friday, so our themed session is upon the socio-political affairs of our current events, and we're going to peruse the Twitter feed. Now known as X, of course. Formerly known as Twitter. But that's the location in which we can receive to the minute breaking news and be kept updated, if you will, with the reports around the world taking place and whatnot. I mean, I don't swim there every day. You swim there every day, you're gonna drown. There's no way around that. I don't swim there every day. That's why we keep this session just once a week on Friday. We get to speak upon our thoughts through a Christian worldview in regards to what's taking place over there. Hope you're doing well on your Friday. Hope you're healthy, or as healthy as you can be. Over here in our household, we've been dealing with the sickness. But we've been dealing it very well and just getting through it now. Almost done with it, on the mend kind of stuff. A bit of coughing is lingering on, if you will. Yesterday, it seemed like there was a wave of it coming back, but it stepped away and whatever, man. It's just, it lingers. It's a lingerer. It's a creeper. It creeps in and then it stays for a while. But it seems like we're conquering. We're conquering its hostile attack. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're not sick or anything. But if so, it's the season. It happens. We used to know this. Remember back in 2019? Like, people got sick and stuff, and it was legal because we just got sick. Remember when you couldn't call in sick to go to work? Like, you had to go to work sick. Like, it's a thing. We went to work sick. You worked at the factory, you got to go to work. Or at the factory, you got to work. What, you're not going to call the boss? You got to call them. Yeah, so I got the sniffles. I don't think I should come in and contaminate anyway. Be like, what? Are you on drugs? Have you been drinking? Put your hard hat on, get your earplugs, get your steel toe boots. We need you. And that would be said with a great many flowery, colory language type words. In a much more forceful, heavy-handed way, How dare you? Remember that, though? I do. I'm that old. How old are you? I'm so old, we used to go to work sick because we had to. Sore throat, nasal pain and pressure, all of it, coughing, just fever. You'd have to be borderline dying. You'd have to go to work and the boss, and it wouldn't be like out of compassion. It'd just be like an inconvenience. Well, you're apparently too weak of a man to do this job properly today. What's the matter with you? Running around with a Kleenex box, Go home for a few hours. Call me when you feel better. Now it's kind of like calling in. I'm so sorry. I think I sniffled. Don't come to work. Stay away from us for a while. Things have changed so drastically. And you know what? You know what I'm noticing now on my panel here on my Ecamm app, the streaming live? I noticed that they're still not allowing me to stream on my YouTube channel. Like, it says destination could not be started. Well, why? The first reason was they told me you can't do it until you reach 50 subscribers. Because it's a new channel. You can't stream live on your YouTube channel because you don't have 50 subscribers. Well, now I have over 100 subscribers. And I just added the destination to my multi-platform stream, and it told me, no, the destination could not be started. Click here for details. Well, click where? I don't know where to click. I'll have to look into these things afterwards, but that's not fair. Life's not fair. Give me a trophy. I'll have to look into things. I don't know why it's not streaming on my YouTube channel. I can't say. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But if you're out there, consider subscribing. subscribing to my YouTube channel and all other channels. Stefan Maia is my name if you're new here to the broadcast. And as you can see right there, it's addedsouls.com. Addedsouls.com is my website. I created that service, that work, way back in 2012. And we stream and create on multiple platforms. YouTube, Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, Substack, Locals, Rumble, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Patreon, all those locations. And please, if you care about this kind of material, the substance therein, and if you're willing and able, support it. You can sign up to addedsouls.locals.com. It's free to do that, but you can support me monthly over there. The work there helps us put food on the table, that kind of stuff. And it's an expedient, of course, to keep the work going and growing. And maybe the going and growing. Maybe there's some others out there like you and I who truly appreciate tapping in with a Christian worldview in regards to all things taking place. There's also the PayPal option. My email address, addedsouls@gmail.com. You can send a donation that way. I labor alongside the East Coast Church of Christ over in East Coast, Canada. It's a wonderful mission. It's a flourishing, healthy, growing congregation, beautiful church. You can check out the .com, eastcoastchurchofchrist.com, or our Facebook page, East Coast Church of Christ. And if you have any concerns or questions, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to have a video chat, phone call, email exchange, whatever is necessary there. You need a physical address? Reach out to me. I'll give you a physical address. If you're not a zombie crazy person. Okay, so we're going to peruse the news feed on X. And we'll see what's going on over there. Real quick, in regards to the model of our socio-political theme here on Fridays. We have to remember the identity of our kind and how we began in these Western nations, both in America and over here in a more diminished state, yet still with its freedom and privileges once upon a time there in Canada. And we have to recognize the identity of our public sectors and what they used to uphold, and the founding fathers and their documents and what they used to believe, and all part and parcel to what we greatly enjoyed for many, many years. And that is, of course, the identity that is founded in our legal documents, which came from a higher power, God, the great I Am, through the principles of the Holy Bible, which gave us 5 points of our identity: pro-Christianity, pro-life, pro-family, pro-self-defense, and pro-country. Now, we've since fallen as a nation to those standards, to those points which gave us, of course, our security, our freedom, our privilege, our opportunities in a great many fields, not only in the economic free market case, but also in the independence of one just finding a beautiful lady, being friends, getting married, having beautiful little kiddos running around, purchase a small little house, white picket fence. What's wrong with that? Let's go back to that. That worked. I enjoyed that greatly. So that's what we used to know and practice and have, and it was through Christian principles, of course, moral Christian values. Well, we don't like Jesus anymore, do we? I mean, that's an old fable. Christianity, that's garbage, trash. Let's get rid of all of that. We don't need that anymore. That's useless, and we have. And so now, instead of being pro-Christ, pro-life, pro-family, pro-self-defense, and pro-country, well, we're everything in the opposite, haven't we? We've neglected and rejected that pattern, that system of life which gave us the land of milk and honey and all its opportunities. Now we are anti-Christ, anti-life, anti-family, anti-self-defense, and anti-country. And sadly, those corrupted points have contaminated the 5 major powers. And those would be, you may ask, well, government, number 1, corporation, number 2, academia, the academic institutions, number 3, number 4, entertainment in all its facets, sports, music, movies, number 5, media, social, and news, cable, all corrupt. Oh, yeah, we got a major We got a major work in front of us for any kind of renewal to our former glories. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're at the point that even Christians are so dulled of their passion for the truth and the principle, the privileges and freedoms that we have in Christ. They're so dull from it that they think somehow it's virtuous to invoke another Roman empire and oppression to murder us all over again. They think we need to become martyrs. Now, they say that verbally. They do. You see them say that verbally, like if it's some kind of a virtuous enlightenment. We need to invoke the... But once it's here and once it's full-fledged, like at your door, they're going to be like, I don't want this anymore. Well, it's too late now, genius. It's too late now, genius. Everything that has been at our disposal, that we've enjoyed greatly, we've taken for granted, and we've just neglected it and rejected it. And sadly, a great many Christians, they're lost to that very fact. They've lost that discernment. Not all of them, obviously. And I don't want to cast a bad shadow or a broad brush on that. There are many strong Christians who understand what's going on sociopolitically. They know the priority of our existence is in the heavenly realms. We know that it is a spiritual priority and responsibility. Though that be true, it is well in cooperation with the fact that we are given as good stewards this physical existence to which we are to utilize and preserve. We are to utilize and preserve for the purpose of the Christ. And many Christians know that, and many Christians fight the good fight. And they seek to convert human souls, human minds, to the truth of the Messiah, the Christ, so they too can find peace and grace and mercy and salvation within the boundaries in the kingdom of our dear Lord and Master, Jesus Christ. Like, many Christians know that, and I think many Christians are aware that we dropped the ball. We really did. We got too comfortable, and we stopped thanking God for everything that was just so beautiful and in abundance in these nations. We stopped thanking God for that, and we slipped. We slowly drifted off. Give me the beat, boys. And man, what's the words to that? I used to know that song. Give me the beat, boys, and play that song. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. I used to know the songs, the words of that song. Yeah, they've lost my mind at this moment in the AM, but that's the idea, that you slowly drift away. It was meant to be a song enjoyed, not meant to be a song to be lived. But you want to know a bit more about that? Follow me on Tuesdays for our Tuesday lyric, analyzing the lyric sessions. So yeah, they're free my soul. There you go, Jackie. Thank you so much. Give me the beat, boy, and free my soul. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Like, he knows it. I know what that means. I've lived that life. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You drift away from the faith, from the boundaries of Christian principles. You drift away from that. And we have. Many Christians have. And many of us have. We dropped the ball. We let the bad guys in. Now the bad guys are in control. What happened there? Well, there's always been bad guys, but not to the capacity of a full invasion and takeover of our public sectors. And that's what's taking place. That's what happened. Can there be a renewal? I don't know. Maybe if we go to God in a humble reverence, a bowed stature, begging forgiveness, confessing our sins, being like, yeah, we dropped the ball. We murder our most innocent. We pervert our most innocent. We are corrupted in all sorts of lawless deeds and thoughts and speech and acts, and we're puffed up with pride. Oh, man, we're just waiting to be cut down. There's a mess of it all. We're corrupt to the brim. Well, we have to repent from that. We have to change. And change is good. It takes sacrifice. And there is a sting to it. You got to let go stuff. You got to change your mind, change your way in life. And that takes a free-willed decision and thrust and passion to do what's right. But we got to do that. Until then, chaos, division, riot, murder, all those things within the 5 branches of power. which of course, uh, heavy-handedly infiltrate our lives and remove us from the peace we used to have, which is just keep your head low, work hard, work with integrity, be married to a wonderful person who loves Jesus first and foremost. And if it is permissible, if the blessing is an opportunity, have children. Have a whole bunch of them. Buy a house. Doesn't need to be a castle. Buy a house so you can have a home in. Work hard. Tell people about Jesus. Behave Christ-like and seek to study the scriptures with people. Invite them. Yeah, that's a good way of life. You can be content in that way of life. That way of life served us well for a long time. Remember when we used to love our neighbors? Didn't need to lock the doors. We speak of those ancient days. What happened? Well, we dropped the ball. We allowed evil to come in. Same thing if you bring it into the local congregation. Evil will creep in a cunning way. You allow it to do so, man. It'll infect and cause chaos. I know, we've been through that. It's a mess. It hurts. There's deep sorrow. You got to get rid of evil. Withdraw yourself from evil. Get rid of it. Evil is a lying snake. Got to get rid of that stuff. The nation has fallen for those things, sadly. So we're at the hands, of course, of individuals who we never voted for, globalist powers that, of course, practice the godless way of life, and that is to murder. And that's what they're doing. So what's the plan? Well, I don't know. We'll talk about it a bit more. Let's go looking at our feed over on the Twit. Let's go look at the Twits. Let me see here. Screen share. No, not that one. This one. Boom. There we go. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear these things that I'm watching here, but anyways, let's see what we can do. So on the X feed, the first thing that pops up here from a Melissa in Canada says, listen, Kevin O'Leary on Fox talks about Trudeau. Well, can we hear it? Can you guys hear it? I don't think so, huh? Let me see if I start it again.
Canada has one of the best natural resource bases on Earth. It's one of the richest countries on Earth from natural resource bases. It's managed by idiots. Trudeau is the worst prime minister ever put in power. Very successful politician, no executional skills. Hopefully, we will thank him for his service within the next 18 months. It's so important to Canada that he move on.
Did you hear that? Let me know if you can hear that. I just put it on there. Did you hear the audio to that? Give me someone somewheres. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, Stefan, we heard that. Because if so, then that's pretty cool. I'll be able to share some thoughts on that. Let's go back to the top here. Oh, went back there. Interesting. I don't know why I did that. But yeah, I mean, if you were able to hear that, Kevin O'Leary is right on a few things. He's right that our current leader is, how should I say, incompetent. Okay, Jackie, thanks. I could barely hear it, but easily read the words. Okay. Yeah, and Kevin Leary was just saying that Trudeau's just not, he's not fit for the job. He's not been fit for the job. And he used some interesting words for that very thing. I didn't agree with him, being, how should I say, how did he say that? Properly let go and thanked for his service. No, no. Listen, he needs to be, like all of us would be, apprehended and brought to court, put in jail for life. Like, I mean, that's what needs to happen. Like in a just world, in a world where justice is precious and upheld. Justin Trudeau would be, of course, brought to court and then brought to jail for life. It's just an undeniable fact. If you've been paying attention to what's going on, there's been crimes against humanity. So yeah, um, on the news feed there, we get a bit of that. Kevin O'Leary speaking on that speaking about the disaster that is Justin Trudeau. And as Christians, obviously, we must not allow ourselves to fall into a category of bitterness, revenge, or retaliation, or to speak in certain ways that is not becoming of a Christian in regards to our world leaders. Because ultimately, God is in control. And God saw the hearts of the people and how corrupt we were. And he pretty much said, okay, have at it. Have at it. You go ahead and put someone in power that is a mirror to the decay of the moral fabric of your society. And Justin Trudeau, of course, is the perfect picture of a morally defunct society. He is, of course, the poster child to an immoral, foolish, perverted uh, 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 regime, an agenda, and tyranny, and oppression. It's just, he is. The image, of course, of weakness. And it's sad that we had to go to this measurement of decay and fallen position in our nation. But Justin Trudeau is exactly what the Canadian people wanted. Now they don't want him, but now it's too late because he has the power to remain there. It is no longer in the hands of the people, in my opinion. But we shall see what happens. Andrew Tate has some stuff to say at times. I'm genuinely terrified of Nikki Haley, he says. And please listen, discretion, viewer discretion. I'm going through this, and if I see some foul language or bad words or things or images that we shouldn't be looking at, I'm going to scroll through it real quickly, but I can't. I just can't magically make it disappear before your eyes real quick. So be aware of that. I mean, this is X, and it's the news feed, and at times there's things in there that, depending on your conscience, you may not be able to handle. So viewer discretion be advised. Andrew Tate says, I'm genuinely terrified of Nikki Haley. Any man who knows how vindictive, evil, short-sighted, and psychotic women can be. Yeah, some of us have lived long enough to see women like that. Sadly, have been in relationships with women like that. Coupled with a basic understanding, physiognomy, I don't even know that word. I can't pronounce that word. Takes a single look at Nikki Haley and is terrified. So he goes on speaking about, I don't think he's a fan of Nikki Haley. I'm not really either. I think she is, of course, of the neocon persuasion. Here's Alex Jones. Alex Jones was really fun and entertaining to listen to until everything he was saying became true, and then you're like, oh, this is serious, isn't it? So what's he got going on here? The breakdown of society is accelerating. Yeah, here you go. Here's a police officer trying to do his job, and he's getting beat up on, and here comes a few good Samaritans that are getting rid of the bad guy or helping the cop take care of the bad guy. And can you see that? Good grief, man. This is society. This is society. This is where we're at. Well, it's a good thing, I guess, that some of the citizens got involved and said, you can't do that. You can't just, beat up on a cop. But you can see how there's no justice here. Like, there wasn't an apprehending of the perp, if you will, and whatnot. And I mean, they're just going to keep beating on the guy. Did he invoke such a treatment? Yeah, probably he was asking for it. He wasn't doing what was right, which is listen to the police officer. But obviously, you and I can recognize there's a bit of retaliation there that would not be permissible in a court of law. But it did, of course, at the end here, seem to have fulfilled the objective, which is to apprehend this individual for whatever crime or whatever thing he was being apprehended for. But it's a good thing that there was individuals that were, whoa, don't push that guy. Don't push that guy. He actually helped. So Alex Jones, the breakdown of society is accelerating. It is. It is because we've gone immoral. We've gone immoral, and once you've gone immoral, well, there's the mess. So what else is it? And Alex Jones, by the way, is interesting to listen to, and he's up to par with stuff going on. He can be crazy on you, but yeah, he everything he seems to say comes true. So he has insight and whistleblowers and that kind of information. And he's part of now the Human League, I think, with Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson, and I forget who else. But yeah, if you're looking to remove yourself from the propaganda channels that are paid and purchased corrupt entities now, CTV, CBC, CNN, MSNBCs, City News, Global, all that nonsense, all of it's paid garbage. If you're actually looking to think for yourself and get away from that, Tucker Carlson is a channel you should look into. Alex Jones is another, and there are various others there, of course. You should be on X, is what's going on. X is wonderful X is perfect, actually, for freedom of speech and to see both sides being able to express themselves and whatnot. But it's horrible for me as a content creator because I don't know if I'm still shadow banned or censored or what it is, but I can't break much. I can't, there's not much traction to my content being created on Twitter, but I still stay there because of the news feed. And so, Elon, if you ever happen to hear this, please remove me from the shackles of censorship that somehow are stopping me from from growing on this channel. Ian Miles Chung, fatherless behavior. Of course, that's quite immodest. A bunch of girls there acting like prostitutes and dressing themselves like prostitutes, probably talking about prostitution stuff. Oh, yeah, you can't say that anymore. I forgot. You can't call it prostitution. It's called sex work now. Well, yeah, it's just the degeneracy of our decaying society. I mean, women think that the way you get men is by showing cleavage and basically having a high-end prostitution ring like OnlyFans or something like that. And so they have no true depth of family and God and love and truth and that stuff. It's just become a bunch of plastic dolls, a bunch of little plastic dolls. Yeah, they look real sexy, and that's very tempting to men who, may struggle with self-control. But if you start to look at it for what it really is, they're quite ugly. They are. I mean, these girls, they are just boobs. Like, here's my boobs. Aren't I pretty? Look at my boobs. Yeah, I've seen boobs. There's boobs all around. Girls have boobs. They're not meant to be shown that way. They're not meant to be utilized for gain. See, people forget that with freedom comes responsibility. There are boundaries with freedom, and I wouldn't have a problem at all with laws and policies for public decency. We used to know that. We used to enforce that. Like you were not allowed to be out in public naked. It's just not appropriate. It's not appropriate. It's not right. It doesn't create the fabric of a upright society. And so, yeah, buddy over there with those chicks. I mean, obviously, call them chicks because they're not ladies. They're high-end sex workers or something. I don't know. But we're not going to stick around with that one. Zachary Tisdale, Canadian. I don't know him personally. I agree with a great many things he says. Political voiced. And I agree with a lot of the things he says. Here he says, will the Trudeau Liberals admit Canada's 2023 wildfires were due to arson from far-left eco-terrorists and not climate change? And he's spot on, by the way, because it was finally revealed because, well, the arsonist told the law. Yeah, by the way, it was me. Charged now with 14 counts of arson. Like, he pretty much said, yeah, I'm the one who started the fires. But guess what? All the news channels, guess what Trudeau and Stephen Guilbeault and all those and the House, guess what they were pushing real hard? Guess what they were saying, like full tilt? Climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change. Oh, all these fires starting all at once. Oh, climate change, climate change. Now we got to tax you, and everybody, Canadians are scared. Oh, yes, please tax us to death. Please do that because climate change. Look at the fires. Well, many of us were like, hey, wait a minute here. Something's going on. It's not climate change. It took a few years, but lo and behold, here comes the arsonist. Be like, hey, guys, I started the fires. Are we going to get an apology? Are all the news channels and Trudeau now going to be like, yeah, we really messed up. It had nothing to do with climate change and everything to do with an arsonist. Of course they're not going to do that. Of course they're not going to do that. It's the same thing like the mass murder that took place here several years ago in Nova Scotia, where an evil dude shot up and murdered 20-some people. Interesting information has come to light on that, by the way. It so happens that he was funded somehow, or that he received some kind of funding from some kind of a source, and the model is the model that one understands to be the similar, if not even close to accurate, same sourcing of funding that you would find for political reasons. I don't know, man. I'm just. And isn't it interesting when that happened? All the news channels, purchased, of course, by the corrupt liberal government and the liberal government itself and Justin Trudeau, were all up in arms all of a sudden with guns. Oh, it's because of guns. It's because of guns. Look at what happened. Oh, look at what happened. It's so sad. It's the guns' fault. Let's get rid of all the guns. And all of a sudden, these gun laws were pushed in to remove us law-abiding citizens from the firearms we had grown up to utilize for hunting, for sport, for self-defense. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just... Forbid we put one and one together and, you know... Is it such a far stretch that a corrupt government would pay an arsonist to go set fires and then claim it to be climate change and then tax the citizenry? Is it so far of a stretch that a corrupt government would fund an individual to go murder innocent individuals in the community and then blame the guns and then forcefully put in laws that get rid of the guns? What's going on with a corrupt government? They're taxing us to the brim over something called climate change. They're legally murdering us for that. I mean, I don't know. Give me the foil hat. I must be a conspiracy theorist or something, right? I can't. You know. So Zachary, of course, is spot on with this poll here. He says, will the Trudeau Liberals admit Canada's 2023 wildfires were due to arson from far-left eco-terrorists and not climate change? Of course not. He's not going to do that. Oh, here's the Hodgson twins. Yeah, they're fun to listen to at times, too. They're on it. So the feds planted the pipe bomb on January 6th. Lock these people up for life. It's interesting when all these things come up, right? The media and the corrupt entities that have that control them, they don't tell us the information. No, they don't tell us the information. But then the information comes out. Oh, yeah, look at this one from the Post-Millennial. The Boeing 747-8 catches fire midair. You know that has to do with the DEI standard now, right? You know it has to do with the woke left strategy to have strength in diversity instead of strength in the knowledge of... Okay, how should I say this? These corporations, these powers now have adapted this idea that strength and diversity is the priority. And because of that, they hire individuals who are incompetent, who can't do the job, instead of just hiring people who can do the job, who are experienced. And so the money that should be going to having flying vessels that are safe and secure, well, the funding budget for keeping the plane safe has gone to strength and diversity. So we're hiring individuals who just don't know what they're doing. I'm just spitting out opinion here. I have no clue what I'm saying, right? I mean, I'm obviously wrong, but that seems to be a growing problem with planes and those who are flying the planes and those who are taking care of the planes. Oh, well, what do we know? Maybe we need to, crash a few more until we learn. And yes, I am well aware of how tragic and sad it is. That's why I'm righteously angry about it. It's a useless. There should be no loss of life. It was not necessary. It could have been avoided. No, strength and diversity. Strength and diversity. Who's with us, anyways? Time to say hi for a minute here. Tammy with us. Anik, Jackie's with us. Brandon, hey man, good to see you. David with you. Good to see you, man. Many others on various locations. Please consider subscribing, all of you. Subscribe, like, share, drop a comment. That kind of stuff helps the material reach others like you and I who may find this interesting. And this is our Friday session. Our Friday sessions is basically just our soapbox moment where we get to talk about socio-political affairs, look at what's taking place in current events and stuff like that. Wall Street Silver, is she right? I don't know. Let's not take the time to find out right now. There is stuff, we just have to scroll through. Rep Matt Getz. Matt Getz, is that how you spell it? He's all right, man. I like listening to him. He got some stuff going on. End Wokeness is a good channel. They've got some stuff going on there. Rebel News. Oh, yeah. Good. I'm glad this comes up here. I didn't know I was fighting in North Korea. UFC champion doubles down on slamming gender ideology. Canadian media opposed to freedom, and Prime Minister Trudeau in his second press conference in Toronto. Yeah, listen, I can't endorse, obviously, the language that this MMA fighter is utilizing or the approach with it, but I most certainly understand the sentiment. I can't participate in it. As a Christian, it would breach my conscience. I can't participate in the F-bomb drops of every other minute in his approach. I can't. But I certainly understand where he's coming from. I know why he's saying the things he's saying. We Christians have a different way to reach people and to speak the truth. And we are best to stay in our lane and to do things Christ-like, no doubt. But that doesn't mean we're incapable of recognizing the sentiment behind what he is saying. And what he is saying is right. We're tired of perversion. We're tired of perverts being in our schools, teaching our children how to be perverts. We're tired of that. We're done with the Skittles Mafia. We're done with it. We don't need to know who you like to have sex with and where you like to have sex with. And all. We don't. I don't need a parade in the middle of the street to know where and how and who and all your sexual fantasies and perversions. And we don't need to know that. And our kids certainly don't need to know that. Well, they need their rights. They've had rights. If you were an American, you lived in the land of milk and honey. You had your freedom. In Canada, you were free. What you were looking for is special privileges. And this MMA fighter just, in his brute-like way, and the sentiment that I agree with, just told the woke journalist pretty much what he feels about this whole ordeal. And it's an interesting clip and video. It went viral. You may have seen it. Again, viewer discretion is advised. If you can stomach the language, some of us have to have some pretty strong, calloused conscience to deal with the corrupt locations we are found in geographically. But that doesn't mean we endorse it. That doesn't mean I'm like, no, I can't. Of good conscience, I can't. But I assure you, I can sit down with this MMA fighter and have a conversation, man. I'm not against him at all. I don't have a problem. No, I'm not against him. I'm maybe against the language he uses and the format of his approach, but I'm not against his sentiment. I understand what he's saying. He's right. Freedom. Freedom. And of course, he spoke about the lockdowns and how Canadians had their bank accounts frozen and stuff like that. Yeah, it was an interesting video. And he made it pretty clear on whose side he is. And freedom is certainly his side. So that was pretty cool. Glenda M. Several Liberal MPs have been attacking this amazing woman simply because she is running for a seat in the Conservative Party. Liberals stand for women only if they stand with them. Yeah, oh yeah. That's this whole thing that Justin Trudeau is a feminist and they're all for women. That's a farce. That's not true at all. No, he's not for women. He's for men who think they're women. He's for tampons in the men's washrooms in our military complex. That's what he's for. He's a weak man, a very weak man. And he is the leader because Canada's fallen. The citizenry has fallen. And there's a lot involved with that, too. There was corruption in the electoral integrity has been broken. In the, of course, media complex was purchased and corrupted. They are now the long arm propaganda of corrupt government. Like it goes deep. It goes deep with it all. But it's a combination of all those things, leading, of course, to its demise, societal demise. Dan night, ladies and gentlemen. Today we delve deeper into the thickening plot of the ArriveCan app controversy. In the wake of the eyebrow-raising suspension of Cameron McDonald and Antonio Utano, the OGO, Standing Committee on Government Operations and Estimates, has ramped up its, and then the article continues, and of course we know this was another scandal. It was another check mark in, what do you call that? There's a name for it. I can't remember it now, of course. But anyways, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's got a whole bunch of them. He's collecting them now. Breach of ethics, corrupt. And they're just so upfront with it. They're just like, we're doing it. The chartered rights is flung out the door. And so the ArriveCan scandal is just another notch, to that end. Miss Roboto, to all the people calling Sean Strickland anti-Canadian for his rant the other night. Hating on Trudeau doesn't make you anti-Canadian. Supporting him does. Yeah, I don't know who you are, but you're right. And, of course, again, you got to pay attention. There's some bad words being used. I mean, it's the public sector. There's public life there. They're not Christians, okay? They're going to use bad words. We Christians don't participate in that, but we see it. We know it's there. Yes, folks, she really is that stupid. Looking at, what's her name again? Socio-Cortez. Yeah, I've listened to her. She's certainly not someone I would want in power. Someone I would want as an influencer. Someone I would want in any public sector or decision or policy at all. At all. She's corrupt as can be. Tommy Robinson. Listen, you want to know how, he's a good source to follow. Again, you got to be careful with all these personas of the public life. Some of them can use language that we Christians do not utilize, but Tommy Robinson is spot on. I've been following him for a long time. He's been against the Islam and the destruction it brought to his homeland, and he's interesting to listen to. Eco-terrorist, yeah, Theo Fleury. Eco-terrorist here, this guy here, Stephen Guilbeault is an eco-terrorist. He's indeed what you see there. He was telling all the Canadians that it was climate change, when in fact it was an arsonist. And I wouldn't even, and this of course is just an assumption. I would see him and the corruption of his government paying arsonists to set fires and then claiming it to be climate change. Climate change is a lie. It's just as much as a lie as evolution. They think they have an argument because they say the experts or science. You science denier, we have science. We have the experts. Now remember, the same experts and the same scientists will tell you that a boy can be a girl. No, it's a farce. Evolution is a farce. It's a myth. And so is climate change. The weather changes. It does. And I'm not saying let's throw everything under the bus and just become these garbage peddling humans who live in trash all the time. No. Let's keep the environment clean. I think that's being good stewards of this beautiful earth. Yeah, okay, I'm with that. I don't have a problem with that. I want that. I want to live in a society that people clean up. They're clean. I want clean. I like trees. I like the country. I don't got a problem with that. The problem is corrupt governments creating a non-existing problem, climate change, and and then claiming to be the solution to it. What's the solution? Taxing the citizens to death, getting rid of every fossil fuel, the things that, of course, are have helped us live such opportune lifestyles. No, let's get rid of all. No, listen, climate change is a lie. The science, the true science, the real science actually says that climate change is a lie. The fear mongering of it, of course, aspect of it. So is evolution, by the way. All of it. Get rid of all of it. Get rid of these corrupt individuals like Stephen Goodboe. Get rid of all of them. Flush them all out. We need to get rid of all of these people. They're evil. They're corrupt. Andrea, I don't know one person that likes Trudeau. Do you? Yeah, sadly, a lot of people like him. Well, not a lot. A lot of people used to. But now I think they're waking up to the fact, like, hey, this dude isn't really, this dude really isn't what we want here in this country. Well, maybe it's too late now. Again, you can vote in communism, but you're going to have to do something else to get your way out of there. Wild content over a deer is wild. What's going on here? Oh, yeah. Let's keep going. What's the best state to live in? Considerations, weather, people, tax laws. Bridget Gabriel is interesting to listen to. She says, God bless First Lady Melania Trump. What a beautiful eulogy for her mother. Her mother had passed away. And so that must be, some remembrance there. Do you think that number should be higher? 69% of Canadians want Trudeau to resign. Yeah, that's probably accurate. I think the number should be higher. I think it should be 99.99% of Canada don't want Trudeau anymore. But again, it doesn't matter. See, that's what Canadians don't understand. We voted in communism. You think communism is going to just be like, yeah, you can vote me out. You're in for a surprise. The best outcome would be, of course, having Trump and Vivek and those kind of conservative policies in power in America, and then America can come liberate the people. That's pretty much the best outcome there. Or if someone like Poilievre is going to go into power, and Poilievre is a neocon, to my experience, and he's, of course, a corrupt conservative power. But as he, of course, panders to the vote, hopefully Canadians will put pressure on him to do what's right, and hopefully Pierre Poilievre will do what's right. That's if, of course, Justin Trudeau allows him to enter into leadership. Justin Trudeau just might stay in power indefinitely until he doesn't want to anymore. That's what happens when you vote in communism. I mean, Justin Trudeau did say that he admires the basic dictatorship of China. I mean, this is not a conspiracy. This is not... I'm meant to feel like if I'm saying something that's a lie. No, it really isn't. These people have verbally said so publicly. Us repeating what they've said and what they do is not a crime on us. Why should we meant to be? Oh, you're just... No, listen. We're done with all of that kind of nonsense. So do you think that number should be higher than 69% of Canadians wanting Trudeau to resign? Yeah, absolutely. Candace Owens is fun to listen to. She does a lot of wonderful journalistic work. Yeah. Thanks, COVID vaccine, she says. Just in, new cancer diagnosed expect to hit a record high in the U.S. Donald Trump Jr., he's fun to listen to as well. You'll find him over there. Guys going live with Vivek at 6 p.m. Eastern only on Rumble. Yeah, that's probably an interesting. Dom Luker. He's high up there in the content being created and exposing a lot of evil out there. Breaking, Darius McCrary, the actor from Family Matters, stated that all male stars have been inappropriately touched in Hollywood before. Well, of course. On June 27, 2018, actor Terry Crews exposed Hollywood when Crews testified to U.S. Senate that he had been sexually assaulted. What does it say? By a successful Hollywood agent. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. I mean, even Howard Stern, believe it or not, has publicly said Hollywood is just a nest of satanic homosexuals. That's the whole deal. They're just all a bunch of pedophiles and perverts. Yeah, they are. What's next? Larry Brock. He's fun to listen to. He's one of our conservative politicians there, and he's quick to hammer out the truth. And again, all of these career politicians are corrupt, in my opinion, which is why I side more with the kind of Max Bernier policy to bring back an independence, sovereignty for Canadians, small government instead of big government, that kind of stuff. But I know they're not going to get into power because Canadian people are just totally tuned into two parties. It's either red or blue, right? The Bloods and the Crips all over again. But Larry Brock, that being said, is interesting to listen to, and he knows his stuff. And he knows Canadian politics, and he knows how corrupt the Liberal parties, the NDP, the Greens are. And so he holds them accountable to the best of his ability. He says, outrageous cynicism. Justin Trudeau has set a standard of deflecting and avoiding questions. The man has never answered a single question asked. I know, I've been following politics now for over a decade. The man has never answered a question. Never. He's the perfect politician. He can't answer a straight question. Justin Trudeau has set a standard of deflecting and avoiding questions, not only for his ministers and MPs, but also for bureaucrats and Liberal insiders. Enough. None of them are worth the cost. No, they aren't. I agree. So this is a funny channel. It's called Cat Turd, and he's a funny channel. Enough said with that. But yeah, you probably find him humorous at times. He is full-on pro-Trump, MAGA nation stuff. Yeah. Fox Knight. Does E. Jean Carroll belong behind bars? I don't know everything going on all the time, so I don't know what that's about yet. Freedom Honey. What's going on here? 12 years of service. One tour in Kandahar. Many deployments to fires, floods, and other domestic operations. And you get angry because I call you out on how unfairly you treated my friend and business partner. Don't know what's going on there, but the Canadian Armed Force, sadly, is a farce now, and that's why that's why they can't recruit. We're literally so weak right now, military-wise. We're so weak. The smallest third world location you can find on the map probably has more military might than we do, and they could take us over anytime. Sadly, but they don't need to because we've already been invaded. The enemy's here. They're actually in control of the country. Richard Grenell, who's he? Pull the camera footage at the elevator. This story is very hard to believe. Caitlin Collins, represent Republican Barbara Lee. I was walking to the Capitol and a man stopped me, a white guy, and told me I could not get into the members' elevator. He told me it was for members only. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, CNN. Never mind. I now I know exactly what's going on there. It's racism, full tilt. It's the race card. That's what they do over in CNN. A bunch of racists. Yeah, he went viral. Here's this Canadian just rush up to the MMA to shake his hand and be like, thank you. And again, he's just going off here. This MMA fighter's going off. And Strickland, his name is. And he's right. Again, I can't agree with the language, but I agree with the sentiment. Laura Ingram, Jamie Dimon sees what we have been warning about. A lot of news, a lot of politics. Family is everything. There's the Trump family. Man, that little kid sure grew, didn't he? He sprouted. Dude, he's like 6-something for sure. Who knew curling was so intense? You'll find some humorous stuff. Tim Pool, some of you may know that name, Tim Pool. If Trump loses his case for presidential immunity, then I look forward to every leftist, anti-war, and right-wing anti-war group protesting for Obama to be locked up for overkilling Abdullah Raham al-Kawalaki, a la snack bar or something, I don't know. Zachary Tisdale again, Ian, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get the gist of it. This girl pepper sprayed her teacher because he took her phone from her. Yeah, this keeps going on and on and on. I see a lot of these kind of videos where they're just beating up on the teacher or doing stuff to the teacher, and it's because the teachers don't have the right to utilize self-defense, and because the faculty is permeated by social Marxists and fascist, and look at that. I mean, that's how they treat a teacher who took the phone away. I mean, I wouldn't do self-defense. Knock her teeth out. Just self-defense. This has nothing to do with skin pigmentation and everything to do with order. Discipline, order, and that's left, obviously, our public school system, the academic system. Well, that goes back again to what I was telling you in the model of our identity now being removed and academics now being infiltrated by these corrupt social Marxists. And what happens is these kids are running rampant. They're just delinquents allowed to practice criminal things and physically assault and scream and blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, here we go. Matt Walsh. If you really want to know where I stand socio-politically, I'm of the Matt Walsh persuasion. That's where you will find me. That's pretty much where I stand. I'm of the Matt Walsh persuasion. This is, of course, an utterly fake, made-up lie story that only the stupidest among us will believe. Okay, see how see what's going on. A while ago, we were stepping into the CNN thing where this lady is obviously a racist, and on CNN, they're a bunch of racists, so obviously they're going to make things out to be a matter of skin pigmentation somehow. And Matt Walsh is quick to call it out, and he's right to do so, that it is, of course, utterly fake and made up lie. No one hates you. No one's discriminated on you because of your skin pigmentation. I'm sorry. It just has not happened. Does it mean it never happens? Oh, no. It happens. It happens. There are racist people out there who will hate you if your skin pigmentation is kind of like mine, or if your skin pigmentation is kind of like Michael Jordan. Both of us human beings. Yeah, there are people who will hate you because of the shade of your skin pigmentation, okay? But not to the measurement that, of course, these racists make it out to be. Alex Jones again. We better skip it. A lot of F words being dropped there. Ezra Levant is the Rebel News guy. He says, the last politician to call Canada an energy superpower was Stephen Harper. Now Mark Carney is saying it. And of course, Rebel News was over there at Davos and questioning the globalist powers that are there. So he's interesting to watch. I follow a lot of the Rebel News guys, conservative grassroots organization, crowd-funded, if you will, paid by the citizenry, which is what you want because CTV and CBC and all of them are paid by the Trudeau government, so you know what's going on there. Kim.com, he can be interesting at times. I don't agree with everything, obviously, that all of these creators say. My worldview and priority and loyalty is always to my Lord and Master, Jesus Christ. So my Christian value is the department of things, is the department that I endeavor, right? So I again, many of these I can't endorse per se because of their tactics, their words, their approach. But I understand the sentiment. I know why they are frustrated. I know why they are behaving the way they are behaving because they're tired of corruption. Jeremy McKenzie can be interesting at times, though there are many things he says, again, I may not subscribe to. There are a great many other things I do subscribe to. Wall Street Silver. Hey, Canada, is everything okay up there? We're worried about you. Probably another Canadian just talking about how we can't afford to pay the rent. We can't afford to pay the mortgage. We can't afford to pay the groceries. We're in the streets. We're freezing to death because, well, climate change. Tom Marazzo is interesting to listen to. He is a lawyer over here in Canada, and he is for freedom, of course. He is for freedom, and he fights for freedom, and he is interesting to listen to. Canada Proud, interesting to listen to. Rand Paul, many of my American friends know who he is, of course. Since Nikki Haley is refusing to debate Ron DeSantis before an H, I present to you Nikki Haley debating herself, which is probably, flip-flopping, the neocon message. She's being puppeteered. You don't want that. You don't want that in your Republican Party. You don't want that leading your Republican ticket. No, not at all. Really, if you look at your options right now, there's really no other option than Trump. Yes, he is a slick-talking New Yorker, ego-driven, prideful adulterer. He can, yeah, the guy's sinful. He's in sin. Yeah, he's snared in sin. He is. No way around that. Okay, what? He has the policies that are according more so to Christian value and to the love of his country. And there's really nobody else. And I'm not your MAGA Nation dude. I'm not. My priority, my subscription is to Jesus Christ. Again, that's where I stand. But if any of these politicians tend to want to create policies and enforce policies that are according to Christian value, to a certain degree, obviously, to a certain degree, I mean, okay, the Bible clearly says that homosexuality is a sin. Well, maybe there's some debate there about making a law that says homosexuality is illegal. Now, I don't know if I'd agree with that. I don't know. Maybe there's a conversation to be had. Again, the nation is not the church. Donald Trump is not the preacher behind the pulpit. Now, we'd be truly blessed to have a brother in Christ, a faithful Christian, one day become the president or the prime minister, no doubt. But I don't see anybody else really than Trump. And it seems like if Trump's going to win. Which is why, of course, over here, Justin Trudeau's like flipping out and saying, if that happens, it's the end of the world. It's interesting to me how these liberal powers are saying, if we vote for conservatives, if we vote for someone like Trump, there's going to be a war. There's going to be wars and chaos and rioting and divisions. This is the end of the world, But that's what they've been doing. Like how that's exactly what they have brought to us. That's exactly what they've done. Which is why now you have a great deal of individuals who are Democrats and liberals turning. They're like, hey, dude, I follow the culture of the hip-hop realm. I've been in hip-hop for a long, long time, and I'm tuned into the streets and the talent of the streets, and I know all the hip-hop artists, and I know what's going on with that culture. I have many friends in that business. I used to create, and we almost built a label in the hip hop world. So I kind of know what I'm talking about with that a little bit. Many of these artists are just flat out now saying, I'm voting for Trump, man. Well, you're not allowed to do that in that culture. You're not allowed to do that. Most certainly publicly. You can't publicly say that. But they are. Why? Because the fruits of liberalism, which have invoked social Marxism and fascism and all these things, we're starting to see, they've seen it in their communities. They're tired of it. It's time to change. It's time to change that. Can't do that anymore. Anyways, wow, I haven't noticed that we've gone to our hour. Let me close this down here. Again, the news feed on Twitter is interesting. I just allow the algorithm of the stream to follow, and I'll get to see what the left is saying. I'll get to see what the right is saying, and then I formulate my own thought. I used to be on the left. I used to be a liberal, full on. Really, for decades. Pro whatever they are, pro-abortion and pro-gay rights, whatever. No, I didn't get involved in it as as an activist or anything. To me, in our world, we were just as corrupt can be, but we were all liberals. We just never voted. But we paid them off very well. Well, then, lo and behold, I started to read the Bible and wanted to know a bit about what Christianity is all about, Why are so many, what's Christianity about? So I started to look into the Bible, remembering the things Mom and Dad had told me about Christianity, because Mom and Dad were Christians. And then, after a while, you're like, oh, dude, wow. Yeah, I'm not for abortion. Man, that's murdering babies. What? I'm not for that's perversion. What's going on over there? It's just organically, spiritually, your mind changes. Or the decision to change your mind is presented to you, and then you make the decision, if you're humble enough to do so, to change according to what's right, or to leave it behind and be like, the Bible's just garbage and blah, 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 blah. No, listen, I used to be full-on pro-liberal policies. In other words, I was for criminal activity because we had organized it. Well, not so much anymore. So I get to see now the two sides of it on X. You get to see what the left is saying. You get to see what the right is saying. And statistically, not that I agree with everyone on the right and what they are saying and what they are doing, but the statistic is in majority to the right in as far as what is right, what is logical. There's only two genders. That kind of stuff. But anyways, a bit of this is why we do our Fridays. We get to vent out a bit and just get the soapbox and share a bit of socio-political affairs, current events, and what's happening. And to do so with Christian behavior. And I know I still have a lot to grow, a lot of growing to do in that department. I'm sure many of you think that way as well. I mean, I've been learning how to remain focused on what is important. But on Fridays in our sessions, it gives us this kind of outlet where we get to see things and share things. Because we Christians, we're on this earth. We may not be worldly with the world, but we are on this earth, and we see things that give us concern. We see things that, we want to change. And the best model for life that I've seen to deal with all of these things, to persevere through all these moments and to make the right decisions is living a Christ-like life. Following Jesus, read the Bible, go to church, find a good person, marry them, have children. Make the priority of your life to be with Jesus in heaven one day. That's it. Friends, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, drop a comment, all that kind of wonderful stuff. And please, if you're willing and able, consider supporting the work. Consider supporting the work. It helps put food on the table, and it helps the expediency of this content to reach far and wide. You can sign up to addedsouls.locals.com. You can support there. There's the PayPal option, email address addedsouls@gmail.com. I labor alongside the East Coast Church of Christ over here on the East Coast. You can check out the .com, eastcoastchurchofchrist.com. We have a Facebook page, East Coast Church of Christ. And as you can see on the screen, we stream all over the place. YouTube, Twitter, Substack, Locals, Rumble, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Google, Patreon. And if you need a physical address, reach out to me. We can have a video chat. We can have a phone call. We can have an email exchange. If you have any concerns or questions, man, I'm here for you. Is that okay? Have a wonderful weekend. Try to stay safe, obviously, and encouraged. Lord willing, we shall be back at it on Monday morning. We go live from Monday to Friday. Well, on Monday, actually, I upload our sermon session from what was proclaimed from the pulpit on Sunday. We upload that at 10 a.m. on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we go live all the way through Friday at 10 a.m. Atlantic Daylight Time. On Tuesdays, we analyze the lyric. We take a song from the world and we analyze the lyrics through a Christian worldview, of course, understanding what they were saying and understanding what it means for us. On Wednesdays, we have our midweek Bible studies. And we just began the book of Exodus. And so that's what we do on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we have topical discussion, topical Thursdays. And on Friday, well, here we are. We have socio-political conversation. If any of that is interesting to you, by all means, follow along. Stay focused and stay positive. We shall speak again next time, Lord willing. God bless.